Hey guys. So I just saw a Facebook post shared by a friend, and former Miss Universe Philippines MJ Lastimosa has expressed her concern for Siargao flights being like crazy expensive. Like it, I was aware that Siargao flights could cost like 20K, or 20K for a round trip ticket, but I could never imagine it reaching up to 40K. And I talked to a friend about it, and he was actually shocked and he couldn't believe it. So he looked it up himself, and it actually did cost around 20K per way. And someone from Threads actually confirmed this as well. Yeah, so it's true. It's reaching up to 40K. Now, I know the title says that there is a way to get the Siargao for only 400 pesos. I'll get to that by the end of this video. But for everybody who is curious and who's like enraged that the tickets to Siargao are costing like 40K for a round trip ticket, let's try to explain why it would reach that amount. So as a sort of refresher about the Philippines, so the Philippines is divided into three major islands. There's Luzon, there's Visayas, and then there's Mindanao. So the capital, which is Manila, is located in Luzon. And Siargao is located in the northeastern portion of Mindanao. So see this tiny island over here? We can zoom in. This is Siargao. Yeah, this one island here. And Siargao is actually around 762 kilometers away from Manila. So that's kind of far. And you can go there by plane. Siargao does have an airport. And we can sort of, when we look at the airport, we can sort of start deciphering or start figuring out why the plane tickets are expensive. So number one, the airport is actually small, meaning it has a smaller runway. And the consequence of that is that larger planes, which can seat around 180 people, can't actually land. And so the airline companies have to use a smaller plane called a turboprop plane, which seats around 70 to 72 people. And the effect of that, from the side of the airline company is that, you can only divide your flight costs, like fuel and your salaries to all the employees, the pilots and the cabin crew. You can only divide that by a smaller number of people. So you sort of have to charge them more to be able to extract more revenue. But of course, they are artificially increasing that. And we'll get to that in a bit. So that's one. So there are smaller planes. They have compensated by adding more flights to Siargao, but the reality is the same. You have less, less people to charge for your fixed cost for the entire flight. The second thing that I think aggravated it is that, the Philippine government or NAIA, the the airport company running NAIA actually banned turbo flights, from Manila. So there used to be a way to get to Siargao from Manila directly, and they just banned that. I think that started March or April of 2025. And the reason was they wanted to decongest NAIA, which is sure, fine. But the effect was you moved essentially all the turboprop flights to Clark. And Clark is around 2 hours away from Manila. It's not convenient. Like, it's super inconvenient to fly, from Clark if you are from Manila, like Pasig or like Metro Manila. And so yeah, so no more direct Manila to Siargao flights. So there are fewer options and there is an added travel inconvenience. So yeah, so there's already two things. The third, fourth, and fifth, third one is there's actually just two airline companies flying to Siargao. You don't see AirAsia, which is a lower cost carrier than Cebu Pacific, trying to fly to Siargao from Clark. And another thing is that I'm filming this June, and the Facebook post is also in June. So that's actually summer. That's summer for us here. In Manila, I can understand it's already rainy season, but yeah, if you're familiar with the climate of the Philippines, some areas have different climates, and the rainy season and wet season for Manila and like Siargao portion or Surigao del Sur portion, they're actually inverted. So you can actually have a forever summer or forever rainy season if you want. You just have to fly back and forth. Going back to the point, there is a significant tourist demand And there's also rising fuel prices. So that all those five reasons sort of contribute to like a perfect storm. And yeah, so that's a summary of like why it would reach 40,000. So yeah, so there you have it. So if you're wondering why it would reach 40K, they're actually thinking of expanding the runway, and enlarging or upgrading the airport, but that's probably going to take a couple more years. And Siargao is still going to be like a top destination. Yeah, so there's that. Now we move to the portion of the video where I explain how you can travel, or the alternative, the alternative options that you have if you want to travel to Siargao. So one obvious way, and airlines will let you do this, is to fly via Cebu. So you can book a flight from Cebu Pacific or Philippine Airlines, which will have a stopover in Cebu. So you ride a big plane from Manila to Cebu, and then from Cebu you ride a smaller plane, the turboprop planes. So it flies from Cebu Airport to Siargao Airport. So you can do that. But that'll sort of cost you still. And I've seen some people get success by booking an AirAsia flight to Cebu, which is like super, super cheap. And then you book Cebu Pacific or Philippine Airlines flight from Cebu to Siargao. Now, of course, there are consequences. You might have to stay overnight at the airport or spend one day in Cebu, but you can sort of make a trip out of it. So that's the most convenient, but not the cheapest way to get to Siargao. Now, for another option, you can actually fly into Surigao City. So Surigao City, which is here, Siargao is here. So Surigao City, so they're both still part of Surigao del Norte. Surigao City is actually, they have their own airport. Although it is small, you can still fly from, I think, Manila to Surigao City. Yeah. So they can still accommodate the bigger planes. But if it rains, then they cancel their flights easily. We've had experiences where a flight was delayed. Somebody had to stay in Cebu City. So yeah, flying to Surigao City is an option. It has gotten more expensive now. So it's, around 5,000 per way. So it's still gonna cost you, but the ferry to Siargao, so the ferry is from Surigao City Port to the Dapa Port, which is, where's the Dapa Port? Yeah, this is Port of Dapa. So it's gonna cost you like 400 to 700 pesos. So like super cheap. So and the trade-off there is you're just gonna have to spend an hour, 30 minutes for the ferry ride, or what they call the fast craft. So it's an hour and 30 minutes, and you're trading like 20,000 or maybe 5,000 pesos for like 3 hours of your time, which isn't, depending on like how much you're worth or how much your time is worth, then you can do the math. So that's one. Another cheaper option, but a more or less convenient option, is to fly from Manila to Butuan City. So Butuan City is already part of Agusan del Norte, but still in the Caraga region. So they do have a bigger airport, bigger than Surigao City at least. So yeah, you can fly to Butuan City, and then you can ride a van, or you can rent a car. But the cheapest option is riding a van, which will cost you around 600, 700 pesos, which will take you 2 hours and 30 minutes going to Surigao City. And from Surigao City, you can take another ferry, the same ferry that you would take if you flew into Surigao City. So it would cost you an additional around 1,500 pesos. But the flight to Butuan from Manila is around 2,000 pesos per way. So that's like 4K for flight tickets, plus the price for the van and the ferry. So that gets you around 5,000 pesos. So not bad. But you do have to trade more of your time. So now you're trading 4 hours per way, to get to Siargao. So yeah, if you do have a shorter trip, if you don't have time for a longer trip, then that's going to be the issue. But if you're a digital nomad, then this is a perfect way to get to Siargao. Now I know, you guys are waiting for the 400 peso option. Now the 400 peso option is actually, you're not going to come from Surigao City. So you're going to come from a port. It's not a large port, but there is something called the Hayanggabon port, which is located in Surigao del Norte here in the municipality of Claver. And in Hayanggabon port, you can take, a smaller boat. They call it lanchas, but it's the ferries from Surigao City are bigger. So this one's a smaller one, but it'll just cost you 400 pesos from Hayanggabon port to Surigao City. To Siargao, to the port. And it takes you around 2 hours, 30 minutes. So it is cheaper than Surigao City, but the issue is it's all the way here. So if you're going to come from Butuan, which is the nearest airport, or yeah, it's the nearest airport from Hayanggabon port, it'll take you 5 hours to get there. But the reason why I include this is because if you're from Tandag City, which is here, like if you live there, then you can just take a 2-hour car ride to Hayanggabon port and then ride the ferry. So, I mean, you could also make a trip out of it, from Butuan City, take 3 hours to get to Tandag, spend a few days there. There are like surfing spots there, beaches, super underrated, I would say. And then you can drive or take a van to Hayanggabon port and then take the ferry to the port. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not a big difference from if you're coming from Surigao City, because that's going to cost you like 700 pesos for the ferry. But yeah. Yeah, I don't think I missed anything. So that's it for the cheapest way to get to Siargao from Manila. Have all your options covered. You can also go by boat, actually. So you can fly to Cebu, and then you can take the boat from Cebu to Surigao City, which will take you like 12 hours. Like, it's really more time, but also super cheap. And then ride the ferry. So those are your options, I guess. So yeah, let me know if you have your own travel hacks to get to Siargao from Manila, or to get to Siargao from other places in the Philippines. Yeah, so the hacks aren't for everyone, but it's worth it if you're a flexible traveler, if you're a local, or if you want to spend like, I don't know, a month, 2 months in Siargao. So yeah, let me know.